Welcome, one and all, to the Wondercat channel. Today we're going to be diving into the depths and explore the wonderful life that is whales. This deck came about from one simple idea: free cast everything that moves. Whales like to move in groups, these ones do too. Sit back, relax, enjoy this lovely deck documentary on Digimon's favourite underwater creatures. Starting with the lower end of the food chain, BT15 Betamons will fill our shores hunting in the shallows. 4 copies lurk within this list, looking to give our level 4s and 5s jamming, as well as potentially being played from Digivolution to freeze an opponent's Digimon for the turn. The card is generally good as a level 3 starter. It's not always the choice for playoff effects, but it's useful to have access to, and considering most of the level 4s are the ones that give jamming, Betamon giving level 4s jamming makes the deck much more aggressive early. This card will usually be the summon choice when you need to lock down an opponent's boss monster for the turn, and what you want to raise in breeding out of all your rookies. Also waiting through the shallows, we'll have 3 copies of Penguinmon from BT11. On play, you can put any level 3 Digimon or a Digimon with the sea animal Aqua in any of its traits underneath it to draw a card. It's essentially a Digivolving on play and can help you filter your hand. This card with an early Yow can create some very explosive opening turns. While this card doesn't really combo with the rest of the deck as it is an Avian, I've flipped backwards and forwards on this card's inclusion. Next, hiding amongst the rocks is a playset of BT19 Sangomons. The card is kind of underwhelming. Its inherited is okay, but we primarily play it to potentially draw 2 on its on play. It can help us add Yow to our hand, and it hits literally every Digimon from level 4 to level 6, so it's an auto-include just for consistency's sake. The final level 3 swimming around is a singular copy of Whamon from BT7. It is purely a gas card. You'll want to play this early from beneath your Digimon if you're running out of cards in hand. That is going to happen a lot in this deck, okay? On play, if played from Digivolutions, draw 2 seems solid. Again, it doesn't really combo with the whole sea animal aquatic theme, so we only play the one of. If it's also not a DS, a deep sea trait, which is disappointing since playing this off of a Whamon would go so hard. It should be stated as well that our level 3s, Sangomon does not hit any of them, as stated previously, can only hit between our level 4s and level 6s. So there is a little bit of inconsistency with those. We do play a lot of card draw in these effects because we are putting so many things underneath, we don't get as many Digivolution draws. As we leave the shallows and move into deeper waters, we start seeing bigger creatures, more fearsome, and those you may want to avoid. A playset of Dolphmon from EX8 keeps your hand full with its inherited ability and is a cheap 1-cost Digivolve. One of the better cards in the deck in my opinion. It's also a deep sea and sea animal, so it's basically an auto-include. Dolphmon are of course best friends with its other level 4 buddy, Seadramon from EX8 as well. When attacking, gain 1 memory, a decent effect, and jamming inherited. Betamon underneath Seadramon makes for a good starting stack and will keep your stack safe when attacking aggressively into security. We will now move out into the open ocean where level 5s reign supreme. The waves crumble against the power of these giants. X8 Whamon is being played in the playset as an incredible combo piece for the list, allowing you to recur Dolphmon or Seadramon underneath it as it enters. This allows you to actually stack both Seadramon's jamming and Dolphmon's draw power onto your Whamon for extra value. The DNA Digivolve sadly isn't relevant in this list because as good as it is, I didn't want to sacrifice the consistency of our level 4 slots for some random level 4 purple stuff that isn't actually as useful. At the end of attack, he also allows you to play any of your DS trait mons from underneath it for free. This is the first card of many that will allow us to start swarming the board and comboing off. Speaking of Whamon, our other level 5 is 3 copies of the BT7 variant. On play, he allows you to play any level 3 Digimon from any of your Digimon's Digivolution cards, not just himself. And if you do, you can put any blue Digimon from your hand under any Digimon you control. Very, very versatile card. It's a different take on the Black-Blue EX8 variant. It can't summon the level 4 DS stuff, which kind of sucks, but being able to play from pretty much anywhere and put things under anything is very strong. I cannot stress that enough. This card is, however, not nearly as good as part of a stack because it has no inherited. Finally, we're going to move to the deep, dark depths, a place where no light can reach, where creatures lie that even eyes refuse to believe. 4 King Whamon rest in slumber, ready to be played. When attacking, summon a level 3 Digimon or a Whamon from underneath this Digimon without paying its cost. Whenever you do, bounce the level 4 or lower back to your opponent's hand. This whale is certainly the king because goddamn is he mighty and strong. King Whamon is basically the key to this entire deck popping off and is the way you're going to be able to go from 1 to 2 Digimon on board to 4 to 5 for free. No memory necessary. It should be noted that both his attacking and bounce effect are not once per turns and are not inherently linked to each other. This is what truly breaks this card. So many of these decks have just these once per turn, do this, do this, do this. This is just play something, bounce something, swing, play something. It's just all value. It's all value. Crazy stuff. Our flex level 6 is going to be 2 copies of the BT19 Zhang Pengmon, a monstrous 13k beat stick with blocker and security attack +1. All the while, when digivolving, unsuspending a Digimon, allowing you for more when attacking shenanigans if you have another King Whamon out. Just letting you know, this is a combination that's going to happen very often. A Digivolve cost of 5 is pretty hefty, but with its ability to throw an Aqua or Sea Animal underneath it on Digivolve, you gain 3 memory back, essentially making it a 2-cost Digivolution for level 6. It's pretty good. 2 costs into a 13k blocker. Very solid, especially in a format where most of these decks' boss monsters are going to sit around that 11 to 12k mark. This deck is arguably much more flex heavy. It's 100% up to your personal discretion if you'd rather play X over Y. It is going to be that efficient. At the end of the video, I'm also going to list a couple of cards that I was playing or have swapped out just for you guys to, kind of play around with. Next, we're going to discuss the tamers that control these beasts, allowing us to combo off even harder. We're going to be playing 4 copies of Yao. It is a memory setter in Uncommon, which is awesome since not a lot of these exist. It's also very on theme, which is even better. When one of your Digimon attacks, she allows you to put a level 5 or lower Aqua Sea Animal underneath the Digimon by suspending itself. This helps stack Dolphmons or getting jamming onto our bigger boys safely, and in turn gives us more resources to summon and play with. This is also particularly good when you have an EX8 Whamon in hand, being able to swing with something, putting that Whamon under, and basically making it unblockable. She's been alternating between the 3 to 4 copies. We're going to stick with 4 copies now just to make sure we can add her to hand more often off of our Sangomon. Sadly, we don't have any space to play the Shellmon that freecasts her since the value generated off of EX8 Whamon is too great running the level 4 deep sea stuff. Taking an early turn off playing your memory setter is fine in my opinion, and if you get a off of from security, I mean, it's just free real estate. The next tamer we are going to be playing is our dearest Minami, here to empower our whales and Seadramons. Minami is on play effect is completely irrelevant. We do not care about that. She is that good, we are only playing her for half of the card. Whenever you play a Digimon from underneath another Digimon, suspending her gives that new Digimon rush. Now, Minami gets this deck going. This thing just... With Minami on board, she allows EX8 Whamon to summon free Dolphmon, Seadramons on the turn it's played. If having both Yao and Minami, you can quickly extend your board even further. It's absolutely phenomenal how quickly this deck's board situation can get out of control with little to no memory investment on your pop-off turn. On to the options. It is our option time. We're going to be playing 1 copy of Boring Storm. This card is a little underwhelming, but a problem with this deck is throwing all those extra materials underneath your cards, not getting that extra card draw, getting potentially blown out by destruction effects and whatnot. If you can't keep your board alive between your setup turn, that turn where you're going to be swinging with King Whamon, swarming the board with 4 to 5 Digimon, only being able to maybe swing with 2 or 3 of them, and just not being able to get those last couple of attacks in to that security. So we're going to have 1 turn where we might have a board of 5 Digimon, but just need to keep them on board to win. Boring Storm just helps refuel our hand. It's a 1 cost, draw 1, but if you hit in security, draw 2. It's fine. It's cool. It's okay. You could obviously play another Gomamon here if you really wanted to, but I think just the pay one, draw one is fine. I think the one memory options or things that cost one, especially in this format, is going to be much more important because there are going to be cards that leave you on, your memory setters, for example, costing you 4, being able to go like Digivolve Dolphin play a 3-drop and then do something else, for example, or being able to play the Boring Storm just to dig a little deeper. So I don't mind playing it. We're also going to be playing one copy of Hammer Spark. It's limited to 1. We play the 1. It helps us on combo turns. It can end an opponent's turn if it's hit in security. It's decent enough. We're also playing 3 copies of Howling Boost. No deck is complete without its memory boosts. This card, in tandem with Betamon triggers early on, can really cripple any deck's potential to threaten your security. I'm not particularly fond of just ice walling every turn. I think it's a really cringe. I wouldn't even say win con, just mechanic, just stopping your opponent from interacting with your board or just attacking every turn is just, it's a little boring, but it's the only memory boost we can run, so we're going to run it. We're going to be playing 2 copies of Kaizenale. This card is mildly expensive, but allows us to have some hilarious turns. Playing Penguinmon, we can throw a King Whamon or a regular Whamon underneath it, drawing a card, then having Kaizenale throw that level 5 or 6 out for only 4, something that would otherwise cost 10 or more to play. These 2 cards together can put Zhang Pengmon onto our board as early as turn 2, or our turn 1 if we go second. That's pretty crazy. Kaizenale was also being run as a full play set originally, but I think we actually have enough of that free casting ability that we didn't need to run an additional 4 option cards that did it for us. I've slowly cut this card down to 2 over time, just through it being an absolutely useless card in hand without decent targets. A flex card that could potentially be a 3rd copy of Kaizenale if you wanted to. Tidal Wave. Tidal Wave is a newish inclusion to the list, but its potential to make our boards particularly wide is insane. This card can also combo well on turns we play Zhang Pengmon, since we can swing with a King Whamon, summon BT7 Whamon out for free. You can throw other Whamons from hand underneath this if you have a Yao out. Draw a card if using Dolphmon on attack. BT7 Whamon triggers will play a level 3 for free, value on Betamons. If you don't have Yao out, you're able to throw a second whale underneath King Whamon off of your BT7 Whamon playing the level 3. King Whamon will trigger, and any eggs will trigger if you have a big stack. Bouncing a level 4 or lower, you'll gain a memory. Digivolve on top of the BT7 Whamon for Zhang Peng, throwing the level 3 back under it to gain 3 memory. Zhang Peng will trigger, unsuspending your King Whamon on Digivolve. Swing with King Whamon again, summoning another whale, the EX8 one, preferably, if stacking them with Yao or BT7 Whamon. EX8 Whamon will trigger, throwing a level 4 Deep Sea under it from trash. Me can trigger, giving the EX8 Whamon rush. You can then swing with EX8 Whamon, drawing a card, playing the Dolphmon for free, ending your turn playing Tidal Wave to replay the BT7 Whamon and the level 3 underneath Zhang Pengmon, which is, of course, optional. If you didn't notice from that entire kind of spat, the board went from 1 Digimon in breeding or in play to bouncing 4 level 4 or lower Digimon off King Whamon, getting 4 Digimon, a level one of them being a 13k with blocker that's still able to block, drawing 4 cards, all technically just using 2 memory. You go to 6 Digimon, bouncing 6, putting your opponent to 7 if you want to play Tidal Wave. It's just optional. If you really want to flex how wide you can make it. So this deck just being able to raise its stack in breeding up to King Whamon and just having a couple of those really good pieces in your hand can just absolutely combo off. We're also going to be playing 1 copy of Great Maelstrom. It's able to throw a Digimon under for us to reduce its cost, which is a win-win, and bottom deck something. Insanely strong if hidden security. Our last option is a single Sea of Destruction from EX6. This card is an absolute blowout. Like, I wasn't super high on the card originally until I had someone deck testing this deck against me, and I realized just how dumb it can be. It essentially reads put one of your blue Digimon underneath a Digimon you control, then bounce everything your opponent controls that is of the same level. If you have a King Whamon in your hand and you have nothing, you don't have a stack to raise it up and play it on, just throw it underneath something else and bounce it. Bounce their level 6. How free is that? Oh, it's beautiful. If your opponent controls 2 level 5s, play this, throw a Whamon underneath your King Whamon, bounce both their level 5s, go swinging. It's really good card, but we only play the one because it is fairly expensive. Lastly, but not least, we're going to be playing our darling little eggs. Realistically, we're going to only play the BT7 Bukamon. We're going to do that all day, every day. Once per turn, whenever you play a Digimon from Digivolution, gain a memory. This egg facilitates our combo nature incredibly well. We play this as a full playset. BT11 Whamon was also tested, but didn't really combo well for obvious reasons. Drawing 1 on attack is always strong, but requiring the blue tamer means that it's going to change up our early game plan a lot. And yeah. I mean, I think the memory is definitely more important getting into that late game where you want to combo off anyway, so, you know. If you wanted this deck to be a bit more control-y though, didn't care for the Kaizenau Penguinmon sort of stuff, you can replace the Penguin with Siakomons, swap BT7 Buka for EX8 Buka, and play Siakomons too. Potential options or changes for the deck if you didn't like some of these cards. We have Homer. I tried playing this for a little while as a one-off. He really cared too much about the lower end of the deck, therefore didn't really combo off on the turns we actually needed to be doing things, so he got cut. Not being able to interact with our level 5s and level 6 cards really sucks. It's kind of the reason why Yao is also so important. Besides being a memory setter, being able to throw our Whamons underneath things on attack, very, very important. Plesiomon from EX3, I think it is. A really decent top-end card. I was playing it for a while, especially considering that it's a level 6 with an inherited. We can actually put underneath something. Not a lot of times that we can actually do this, however, because, as previously just stated, Yao only goes up to level 5. Wouldn't be able to do this anyway because it's not the same trait. It's not a deep sea or a sea animal, so it's not going to be hit off Sangomon. But it is a pretty strong card. So, you know, it was eventually cut for a second copy of the Zhang Pengmon. Psychosis Breath, a blue staple that eventually got cut just because of its cost. It bounces anything, which is a fair and very strong ability. But realistically, the deck needs to go fast. I didn't feel comfortable paying 7 for this when we have other options in the deck that do more for less. This was taken out to play the Boring Storm. I do think Boring Storm is actually quite good to play in this deck. If you ever played Yu-Gi-Oh, it kind of feels like a bit of an upstart goblin. Just play 1, draw 1, pay 1, draw 1. But the ability to draw 2 off of it in security, I just think, like, due to the nature of this deck, being able to filter through this deck faster is going to be more important than possibly bouncing a threat. And BT15 Seadramon. I was originally running this as a one-off because of its ability to swing on the turn it's played. Sadly, it can't be summoned off of EX8 Whamon, which greatly reduced its efficacy because it is not a DS trait. With the reduction in Kaizenau being played as well, it just didn't make sense to run this card anymore. You may also be able to play Waru Seadramons, the blue-purple variant. And if you also wanted to play just a couple of the BT15 Seadramons, you could swap Great Maelstrom for regular Maelstrom, which cares specifically about Seadramon. So if you wanted to make it a bit more Seadramon heavy, you could go that route as well, which would be really interesting. But the deck's not based it's not built around Seadramon, it's built around Whamon and summoning all your bits and pieces. So yeah. Anyway, that is the list, guys. I've had a lot of fun playing it. I've been testing it out in both constructed formats. It's been a bit of a rough one, but it has won some rounds, which is pretty funny. And I've played it in a regulation event recently as well, and it did fairly well, all things considered. But yeah, we're going to have the deck list up on the screen for you now to look at, enjoy, and until next time, talk to you soon. Ta-ta.